once a week, talk about what's going on with mini apps in the Farcaster base app ecosystem. So super excited this week. One of my one of the guests I'm most excited about, the Clankermon team. We have Matthew Fox and Arek, both from Clankermon.
Hello.
I think these two have built one of the most exciting and ambitious mini apps in Farcaster mini app history. So super excited to have you both on here to show us Clankermon, show us what it's all about, and give us your quick demo.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for that. And Firecaster mini app ecosystem is still quite a short history, so hopefully we can hold up and stand that test of time. Quick intro on myself anyway. My name's Matthew. I've been building crypto related things for the best part of 5 years. And about a year ago, myself and Eric and our good buddy Josh decided to go all in on Firecaster because, to be honest, I'd kind of given up on the consumer side of crypto. I was starting to fall for this is back end infrastructure, despite how much I didn't want it to be that. But then when Firecaster came along and we started seeing how things plug together on a social graph, we're like, okay, everything that's been tried for 2 to 3 years is completely back on the table. And that's pretty much what we've been doing for the best part of, almost 2 years now, 18 months. Damn, you could have had 2 kids in that time. That's insane. And yeah, so we've just been doing a bunch of stuff on Firecaster, and where we've landed now is on Clankermon, which is some combination of a creature collect game and an RPG. So it's a lot of things going on, squashed into a very small screen space, and ideally playing off the social graph as much as possible in there.
That's awesome. And I don't know, you have had a few children in that time, right? I mean, you've been on the leading edge of a lot of Farcaster development, right? Like, I remember Flappy Caster. That was really kind of the first mini app, right? You're a big proponent
Yes, sir.
of the mini app name and the mini app brand for a long time before we even had considered this in this transition from frames into mini apps and trivia and lots of projects and experiments over that time. So yeah, you've been kind of on the edge of all the developments of mini apps over the course of Farcaster.
Yeah, crashed a lot of cars, racked up a lot of server bills, paid way too much for gas. We've done a lot. We've done a lot.
But we keep
Awesome.
going.
Of course, yeah. Well, yeah, you want to give us a quick demo of Clankermon and what it's all about?
Yeah, for sure. Eric, is there anything you want to add on there before we jump into it?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Eric. I'm the fella that works with Matthew that nobody really knows. Matthew's a fantastic public figure. He's a good-looking fella out there, and I'm just there in the background. So I'm the other half that you never see. So it's nice to meet you.
And you were going to break that trend today. You were going to be on camera. You were going to say what's up, but scheduling issue, man.
Schedule issues. I apologize. My bad.
For sure. Perfect. Do we want to jump into live demo, or do you want to? Yeah, perfect. Do I have to press the button again, or is that like a Horsefax God button?
Nope. Yeah, you got it. Go ahead and share your screen, and we'll jump over to that.
Sweet. So that should be it up there. We got a nice little narrow screen share. I did watch the one before this, like 10 minutes beforehand, and saw Nicholas do like the tight screen. And I was like, yeah, perfect. Because God knows what shows up on that Firecaster algorithm, you know?
True.
So yeah, this is the homepage. Pretty much everything in the app is clickable, like all of the time. We try to make the homepage work in a way where these tabs here kind of present to you whatever you need to do, so that as things are unavailable or as we add more features and you start interacting with more things, when you open this home screen, you just like instantly get to tap in and go straight to whatever the next action you're supposed to take is, which I think if you're going to squash a lot into a mini app is pretty critical. Like that home real estate and what you do there is like super critical if you want to go more complex. If you're going super simple, usually one page does it all. But yeah, you kind of have to be careful with the space and the real estate that you have. So we squashed as much in here as we could. You click in here, you see your player details, how you're progressing. Click here, your energy. We do have daily claims coming, and then we have things like cooldowns. We've got a music player, which I have muted for the sake of this call and everybody's ears. We have an activity feed, which is like the main place where it kind of feels social right now. There's a bunch more things that we're working on, like battles and trading with other players that will make it feel a lot more social. But for now, you kind of just get to check the pulse of what's going on and see everything that's happening in the game. The game is massively, massively on chain, like way too on chain. Like, don't do this level on chain, which has created its own set of problems. Stop me if you want to double tap on it at any point, or I'll just ramble in the meantime.
I'm interested in digging into that later, but let's see the full demo of the feature first.
Yeah, perfect. Then we've got this kind of like hot spot here where we pretty much use it using the Firecaster SDK to like direct to the latest, biggest update. So if you click here, it'll pop open in Firecaster. It'll bring you to our launch thread. That actually went super well considering we pushed it out at like 1 a.m. on a Friday night because we said that we would launch it and we had to launch it and we weren't doing another delay. There was like 4 delays throughout the entire of like July and August. So we were like, no, this has to go out. Did surprisingly well. So happy with that. Then
That's
we kind
why
of
we
get
no longer
into
give dates.
yeah. Yeah. No hard dates, no new dates. So the main thing in the game at the minute is the actual Clankermons themselves. So Clankermons are basically monsters based on and inspired by coins. So crypto coins, crypto projects. And what happens there is on a daily basis, we basically sync the price data for the day, and that will impact how powerful or how much weaker a mon has gotten that day. So you hop in here, you see banker. It's pretty bad day out there, and this is actually one of my favorite like little things about this page specifically is I can just open the mon rankings, see cute monsters, percentages, and like colorful stats, and I know if I should check my actual wallet today or if I should just come back tomorrow. So that's like a little feature that I'm liking. But yeah, we've got banker. You click in, see some art, see some stats. And we currently have about 27 mons, and we'll be adding a lot more over time. So I guess while we're in here, this is the other half of it. So 2 things matter in regards to like how the market influences the game. One is the daily price action. Are you boosted? Are you getting nerfed? And then the other is market cap based. So market cap controls the chance that you're going to pull a certain mon when you actually do get to reveal one, whether you train a baby mon to level 10, which takes about 2 weeks. So it's not for the faint of heart or those who like to shy away from responsibility. This is a full-time pet you will be adopting for 2 weeks. After that, it's a little easier to look after. It's kind of like kids in that way, like they grow up and then you don't have to think about them as much. But those first 2 weeks, yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. So you can see uni is obviously miles ahead of other coins. So there's like a 0.26% chance, which is a very, very small, very, very rare chance of pulling that. But then you've got ones like Noise, which like Noise was not this high up when we launched the game, but because Noise is appreciated, it's become rarer and rarer. And as we go through the game and people reveal more mons, there'll be less and less noises put out into circulation. So it's kind of got those market dynamics feeding into it. And then outside of that, it's just purely a game after that. After those 2 facts, they're the 2 parts that are like super crypto and kind of play into the market dynamics and trading dynamics. Fun backstory: this was completely just a trading app 9 months ago with a little Tamagotchi feature, but everybody was coming back and playing with the Tamagotchi feature and not trading in the app. This is pre-Firecaster wallet. This was back when wallets and Firecaster was a bit of a sticky situation. It's a lot better these days. I'm very grateful for how smooth and fluid the Firecaster wallet is. But yeah, we saw people were gravitating towards the more gamified things. So yeah, we turned around and spent absolutely months building a massively on-chain game, which we can jump into whenever you feel like.
This is really interesting. I didn't know drop chance used on-chain data. So if I, maybe I get a drop from a newer Clanker that's, that I'm into early, and then over time it becomes a rarer and rarer Clankermon over time. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. So once we get past this stage of like fighting fires and figuring out how to scale it, it will be a lot of fun to kind of get those monsters in the game a lot faster. And kind of create moments around these initial like launches and tying in these characters with those little launches. I also really like that it kind of ties together a lot of Farcaster ecosystem projects. Like they kind of have this little third-party ambassador type character. Like when Bracky launched the NFL stuff, we done a fun little video to put it out on Twitter, and then we drive every one of our players over to Twitter to amplify it, and it kind of creates a cool community aspect there. And you also do have people trading for their favorite projects. Despite not having a trading feature and going purely off the trust system, which is how you know you've got like the seeds of a good community, is you see all these people exchanging with each other based on trust, and literally zero reports of getting scammed so far, thank God. But yeah, we definitely do need to get a trading feature in there so that people can do that securely and not based purely off the honor system. So yeah, that was a lot of rambling, and we're still on the homepage, so I'll try and be faster and whip through the other parts. So you've got your Mons team over here. So I've got a Clankfun, a Noise, and a Non, a Better, and I've currently got a Dead Higher. So what happens when you have a dead Mon is you actually have to revive it. And forgive me, this will be 3 clicks. We will get it down to 1 click. So 1, 2, 3, and a glitch. And then yeah, you come in here and you revive it. So basically, if you keep letting your mons die, they're just going to get more and more expensive to revive. And then eventually you're probably going to decide it's not worth reviving this one, and then you're going to burn it. So that's what kind of plays into the long-term scarcity of the actual mons in the game. Kind of similar to trading cards, where trading cards, most of their value today for the rare ones comes from the fact that a 5-year-old 20 years ago wasn't thinking about the fact that this Charizard is going to be worth $250,000 in 20 years' time, and it probably ended up absolutely wrecked in bits in the bin. So definitely this kind of like burn and increase cost over time, and the user deciding if it's worth saving it or not is trying to like bring that in to some on-chain capacity.
This is super cool. If you're a new user to this, like, where do you end up starting? Like, do you have like a starter collectibles that people can get, or like, are there any recommendations you have for people that are brand new?
So if you're brand new, you probably can't get into the app today because we have it like on a fairly strictly filtered waitlist. So unless you've got like an incredibly high Nair score, or you asked us personally, could you play? We haven't let anybody in for pretty much 2 weeks while we figure out how to scale things and not have everything burned down overnight. So yeah,
good problem.
But when you do come in, you actually come in and get one of these little guys. Mm-hmm. So this is your team of Babymons, and it's just a cute little sprite. Horsefacts, I see you in here every couple of days, keeping them alive, training the boys. So you just pop in here. This is the first place you'll spend energy. So as you spend energy, they'll level up. As they level up, you get closer to incubation, and then once you get to incubation, you can reveal them into a Clankermon.
Very cool. Yeah, and then I guess like, what is the community like? Like, how do people interact with each other? Anything interesting you've learned from running Clankermon?
Mainly in the group chat for us right now. Like, we're mostly focused on Farcaster. Like, we did dabble with base and fix the app up so certain things worked across the clients, but we're definitely mainly focused on the group chat at the minute. The channel, I also don't know where channels stand in the grand scheme of Farcaster at the minute, but we do plan to use the channel more heavily and start integrating like social features into the feed, or into a V2 version of the feed, so that like if you play the game for a while, we'd invite you to the channel, and then you'd be able to post and interact in the social feed in the app as well. Or if somebody does something, I expect it more so with battles and like multiplayer aspects, because right now it's very much player versus environment, but it's a shared environment. So you see other people playing against the environment that you're also in, but it's definitely not got the multiplayer aspects that really bring the social aspect to life. So it's mainly just been group chat and in the feed. Hopefully bring more things into the app over time, but they're the main two at the minute. We are also lacking leaderboards, which is like a very high priority feature past critical issues. But yeah, we'll definitely get that in soon. So you kind of see where you're at, where your friends are at, and different things like that.
Yeah, leaderboards are top of my agenda very soon, as long as all the critical items are done, because I'm very excited to see how everyone's doing and displays to everyone.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing that I think you guys do really well is like the notifications. So getting people to come back and like hang out with their and feed their Clankermons, because I've seen screenshots in the feed where people are like, "Oh, I'm stressed out. My Clankermon, is gonna die. So like, I gotta." So you guys do a good job retaining people with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think notifications are just like, I don't think this app exists without the notifications, because I think everybody would just, their baby mons would just die and they just instantly churn. So I think thank God for notifications, and that's definitely been the linchpin that we've even had the opportunity to build a game off, because literally for the best part of 7 to 8 months, you could literally get a notification daily, come in, click one button and go again. And that was the entire loop. That was the entire process.
Yeah, I've finally built the
Otherwise
habit, I
people
think,
forget.
but I used to rely on those notifications for sure. Now I'm used to wake up, feed the Clankermon before I go to bed, feed the Clankermon. But I've come close a few times. I've spent a lot more Clankermon token than I'd like to admit reviving.
Don't worry, we'll get that out there in stats soon.
Yeah.
We'll get it on your profile.
Okay, good.
Total
I'll get an
Clankermon
achievement
burned.
for it.
Yeah, facts for sure. So the outside of the baby mons and those loops right now, we've got dungeons, which is basically a skill-based slot machine with a lot of factors that play into it. So it is chain link VRF, verifiably random, yada yada. But what plays into it is your mon stats. So obviously, if Clank Fun goes on a tear tomorrow, up 1,000%, I come in here, I'm going to have much higher chances of beating higher level dungeons and different things like that. So it's kind of got a fantasy crypto aspect in that regard, kind of like fantasy football, where if you're looking at coins today and you're like, I want to build a team that is going to be great in Q1 of next year, you can kind of start placing your bets now. And then you're probably going to have a great time when more features are added and you can do more. So this is one that's already done. So you just hit view results, that will process it.
Is this based on your team stats or like your individual mon stats?
It's mon
I've been
for mon
waiting.
at
I've
the
been waiting to fill out my team to do any dungeons because I'm afraid they're gonna they're gonna die.
Yeah, that's something that we're currently in the process of fixing up. So it's like way more explicit if you're going to die or not. So this one, it was successful. I did take a bit of damage and I got this item here. So from there, I can pop over to the store. This is like an interim feature before we get to full P2P marketplace. So we basically got our little guy here, Bob, and you can buy things from Bob. You can just buy the items that you're looking for, or you can click this button and go over and sell stuff to Bob. So I just paid X amount to get into that dungeon, and then I can get an item reward from that, and then I can come back here and sell it to Bob to fund my future dungeon costs. And yeah, everything is a transaction, so some things do take longer than you would like sometimes, but that's just kind of part and parcel with how we decided to build this. And then you do have quests. Quests are currently down, but basically quests, just as you finish things in the game, you can come here and claim XP rewards and kind of progress as you go through things. It is not the best system right now, kind of like I mentioned before, but we are working towards a place where quests are just kind of served to you as you finish them, or as you take the action, you get the reward. But right now, you actually have to like go digging through crates to find the ones that you finished and then claim those rewards. We do have reveal, which is over here. I actually don't currently have one I can reveal, which would have been great to have for this session. But I wonder, can I train a bunch of baby ones? Maybe not so much. But yeah, that's kind of the long and short of the app. We've got all kinds of items, all kinds of things you can do. We're still massively iterating on most of the features that are in here, and user feedback's been absolutely critical there to deciding what is priority. It has been from day one when we made the decision that people like the Tamagotchi and they don't want to trade another app. So that's kind of our North Star on everything, is where is the community going, what is the community responding to, and what's keeping players around for longer.
Nice. What like do you work with an artist for all the Clankermon art? Like I really like the design and art of it.
Yeah, no. So we did start off with like sketches and working with sprite artists to try and like figure out the starting things. But over time, like we've been playing with AI from the get go. Very early users of ChatGPT, very early users of VO and the video models. And the bet with Clankermon at the start of the year was kind of that these video models would get a lot better and we'd be able to produce content that people would actually want to watch from it. So yeah, just have absolutely tons of different model pipelines set up that kind of take inputs and output different things. And as that gets better, we want to integrate that into the app as well. So you can create unique shareable moments. It's just a case of us getting those pipelines right and some of the models getting a little bit more consistent. But that's like today, I kind of feel like we are there. It would just be something that needs a little more time before we can actually fully get to that. But yeah, so yeah, no, very little official artist input, just a lot of models and a lot of figuring out what looks good. Honestly, the longest part of the process ever is for any character is just picking the coin that we're adding and trying to figure out like what is a visual representation of this. But apart from that, it's pretty smooth sailing.
It's really cool. Do you ever work with like external communities of the tokens that you're integrating, or let's say there's like a noise or some banker Clankermon? Do you ever chat with the teams and like kind of give them a heads up? Like, how does that process look like?
So for this initial batch, there was absolutely no like forward thought about it. It was just better would be a cool mon, make a better mon, post it to the feed. Hopefully Tony likes it, and Tony did like it. But yeah, definitely working more with the communities that we're showcasing and bringing into the game is definitely something we want to double down on. Like I would love to have a blonde plushie. I think the blonde mon would make a great plushie. Also, the Rock would make a great plushie.
Rock is great. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of really like cool, interesting stuff we can do there. Right now, we just got to keep our heads above water and figure out how to make it sustainable and scalable.
This is weird little guy as a service, right? Every community can have its weird little guy mascot now. I love it.
Yes.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. But yeah, all the beautiful UI and all the beautiful animations, you just thank Matthew. He's the whiz kid when it comes to making it all beautiful. He has got a vision and he knows how to execute it.
So when I look at this demo and when I'm in the app, like I'm really struck by the surface area of this app, right? Like you have like you mentioned, it's extremely on-chain in a few places. You have the Clankermon token, you have in-game items, the mons themselves, which are all on-chain, I think. You've used smart wallets, you've used real wallets, you're ingesting off-chain data, which has an effect on the game. You have all these 6 tabs at the bottom, each of which is its own experience and intersects with all of that. You have the channel, you have the group chat, you have the embeds, you have leaderboards coming soon. There's just a ton in here, right? And you've used, I think, every tool and every feature at your disposal, like to an extent that very few mini apps have in the ecosystem. So I'm curious from that experience, like tons of experimentation. What has worked really well for you? Maybe what what were experiments that didn't go as well there for you, and like what advice do you have coming out of having tried absolutely everything in the mini app SDK and ecosystem for other people who are building apps like this?
Yeah, sorry. I think in my opinion, the activity feed really helped to find out a lot of user behavior, what happens and how the flow works, and it helped us fix a few items because we were able to see that people went to the store straight away after dungeons. Maybe we didn't anticipate it, but it's just lovely to see black and white transparency because everything's on chain. So it's lovely to see and follow users' trends, how they behave and how they use to create better experiences and amend some experiences to make it just a bit better. So that's just my personal part that we learned a lot from.
Solid. I think embedded wallets is a tough choice to make and has a lot of benefits and a lot of risks. So I think one massive benefit with embedded wallets is you can kind of bring it anywhere. Like if we wanted to go mobile, if we want to go web, if we want to go in all these different places, the fact that we decided to go with embedded wallets, and it's like kind of double layer embedded wallets, because you have an embedded wallet and then you have a 4337 smart wallet. They should be the same thing. They're not. That will happen in a future update. But at the same time, those costs rack up really, really fast. Like you will very, very quickly find yourself getting an email from your provider saying that you're getting moved up to the enterprise tier, even though it's like day 2 of a launch, and that's because mini app distribution is so easy. So like if you do put out a mini app, you do need to put this out with the thought in mind that you could have 10,000 new users overnight while you're sleeping, and that is something that's only going to become more and more real. I think we've been in like a lovely little honeymoon period for mini apps up until like this next chapter that we're going into, where you could kind of build a cheap app, you could put it up, you could put it out, and a couple of people would use it. It might be around for a week or two and you'd have a great time with it. As we move into a world where Firecaster reaches more and more scale, that's not really where we're playing anymore. And you will wake up to $1,000 versatile builds. You will wake up to something breaking and then using a bunch of failed usage. You will wake up to getting massively Sybil farmed by somebody running 250 accounts over in Indonesia. All these things are like realities that are going to come with mini apps becoming a successful platform. And I think the biggest challenge that we faced over the past month is just starting to get faced with those realizations. And you just have to think about how you're going to approach things, how you're going to build things. I think in consumer, free is like critical, but in consumer crypto, free is the most dangerous word you can throw around. So like you're going to sponsor some transactions. Yeah, cool. Are you ready to sponsor 40,000 transactions when base gas fees spike to 26 cents? Probably not. Probably not. Most people building a mini app first will probably not be in a position to do that. And if you're using embedded wallets, 10,000 people could open this very quickly, and you will get faced with things. So if you use Firecaster wallet, then yeah, you're obviously, or you lean on the client wallet. That is a much better place, I think, for most apps to start. I do think we're at like a juncture with where wallets in clients are at, and just at a juncture with what a wallet is and how it works in the first place, or how it should work. We're still kind of at that crossroads where the answer isn't super clear yet. So if your app is something that you can pass off all of the on-chain stuff and not deal with conflicts between different clients or different places, 100% lean on the wallet that's already there. Yeah, that's one thing that's definitely been on my mind. Anything you want to double tap on that, or?
Well, I wanted to ask around, like, so you guys are using Naynar user score. Is that like the main line of defense for that, or like anything else you've been adding or recommending?
It really depends on what you're doing. I think Naynar score is a great start. Obviously, it's not perfect, and with more and more people using base app or trying base app for the first time, all these users are coming in with like a 0.5 Naynar score starting point. And I can tell you from analyzing a lot of these people running massive accounts, their Naynar score is much higher than that across all their accounts. So it's not perfect. It definitely is highly, highly recommended to use a pretty high Naynar score to start, kind of suss out your usage and go from there. But with a game, especially, like we just have to build out our own clustering systems that identify this behavior. I think that would be my advice to anybody building any kind of on-chain games coming into Firecaster, is like figure out the things that you need to be tracking and understanding from that perspective before you launch, because it'll become very obvious after you launch, but it'll also be very stressful to try and mitigate it after launch. So I think you kind of have to, like, crypto is just naturally an adversarial space to build in. So you just kind of have to think through your game plan before stepping into the arena.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear. I hope these are all good problems in the long term, right? Like they're problems that come with growth and that come as we see, more and more people adopt mini apps and use mini apps. But yeah, it is a challenge right now, and especially as we have this new profile of user who maybe comes to Farcaster to use mini apps rather than to to post on the social feed. And a lot of these reputation scores that have existed so far are based on your past behavior in the social feed, and so we don't quite have a way to score those users yet. It's a very interesting open problem for folks who are building in the space who want to improve their reputation scoring here. But it's also a very difficult problem. Like we have this problem in the Farcaster client too. How do you tell someone who's just joined the app and maybe done two or three posts or used 2 or 3 mini apps if they're going to be a quality user in the long term?
And whatever system you set up is just going to get eventually gamed as well. As soon as they figure it out, they're just going to game it. So it's a constant game of cat and mouse. And look, it's not a world-ending scenario at the minute. Like, it's not a critical issue that's preventing us from doing anything. But it definitely was an eye-opener over the past 2 weeks that if we 10x, 100x, 1000x the amount of people that can open mini apps very, very easily, there's just a lot of things that devs need to start considering. And you just need to be either able and ready to play at that level or take a couple of preventative steps early so that you can kind of ladder your way into it. Has been our experience.
Strict performance testing and scalability and just making sure that all the user usage goes through. That's a big one. So yeah, scalability is the biggest one. Make sure everything can handle it. From providers, from your own app, from the client, whatever you're using, you need to make sure that however you designed it is not going to crash, cause delays, your back end crashing, your front end not working at all. So you just have to keep all that in mind. As Matthew said, we could have 10x, 100x the amount of usage or user registration, but at the same time, it would have created a massive halt for everybody because all the providers would have been like, what's going on? So you have to really be careful how you curate that. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, also interested, maybe besides Clankermon, I know you've both done a lot of experimentation with other ideas and tools in the Farcaster ecosystem. So like Trivia was a great example of this, live streaming trivia app game.
Yes, shout out HQ
and a
Trivia.
number of other number of other experiments. So curious kind of what you've learned from some of those experiments too, or what interesting ideas you might have for other apps or for the future of mini apps. Yeah.
So bullish on crypto and live streaming, like the intersection there. I think it's super important that we move beyond just live streams with a buy button. I think the more things that we can do live stream where people can interact in real time with financial systems that instantly settle and instantly do things. Like I want to see Goldie Talks in a vertical live stream in a beautiful mini app talking about Polymarket with Polymarkets pulled in right in front of him. Or I think he might be working with another company in the prediction market space. So whoever that is, insert their name and pull those markets in. I'm so infinitely bullish on that. We probably would have gone harder after that goal if the distribution was there today. I think like something like Clankermon works really well because people can log in whenever they want throughout the day, press a few buttons. The coordination problem for live-based stuff is a big one. So like we'd have thousands of people click a button to register to say that they're going to play the game, but like we never broke 200 people. I think the highest we hit was like 180, 190, which is still pretty solid. But yeah, super bullish on anybody working that direction or exploring that direction. And it's something we'd love to explore more in the future. Definitely a lot of lessons from running trivia type games. The thing about trivia was it just like never got to production ready operations. It was always like Eric would have a dashboard for controlling the interactive stuff on the stream. I'd have OBS open on a virtual machine over here managing the live stream. It was all very like
as profs, as producers.
Yeah, very rough and ready, but it was definitely fun. I do love the like even if getting 100 or 200 people playing something at the same time, there is a really fun aspect to that. I do see a lot of the like, let's say anybody can easily get to a mini app in less than 3 clicks. I do think it will be social live streaming, gaming type things that bring us those people in 3 clicks once they can get here in 3 clicks. 3 clicks is pretty important there, start to finish. But yeah, I'm super bullish on those ones. Also very bullish on on-chain games and just like a resurgence of NFTs and all these things that were great before that people abandoned, similar to how I abandoned a lot of ambitions before actually using Firecaster. Because I did sign up to Firecaster super early, like 2022, but my phone bricked the same day, so I never got back in after that. I remember it must have been around the time of like one of the early NFTs, because I remember the arch photo on my feed, and then my phone just completely bricked, and I had not secured my seed phrase for this new app that had just generated one. But I eventually got back in 23, right before permissionless, and yeah, hooked ever since.
Yeah, it's fun to discover, I think, some good ideas, good old ideas, right, that maybe were infeasible in the past, in past cycles, are actually possible now with a handful of new tools, right? Cheap L2s and cheap gas and better smart wallets and just better distribution and tools like mini apps, you can do a lot. So there are a lot of those interesting old things that we can dust off and maybe make it work this time.
For sure. And even older, again, things that just wouldn't have worked before crypto as well, that now make sense with crypto.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. So maybe one more for me. Is there something that you wish mini apps could do today that they can't yet, or something on your mind that you really wish you could do in Clankermon that we don't support yet?
Yeah, I think users 100% need to be able to elevate notification permissions to device level. Like, yeah, that's 100% the highest ask that I would probably have. That was probably one of the swords that made trivia very hard to do. Was everybody would sign up and then everybody would realize, oh, it's 12:05, and then hop into it, but the entry would cut off at 12, and different things like that. So I do understand the hesitation in giving those out. I think we've seen plenty of notifications misused or overused or etc. And I can see why that would be problematic in some cases. But I think if there's a way to let users opt in to receive native notifications from this mini app, I think that would be huge for so many apps. Because there is definitely huge pockets of users that are coming back for one or two apps that they play with. And that's probably going to be our highest growing sector of people. That's the only thing that has actually helped me onboard people to Firecaster who aren't very active on social media, like people who are more consume and interact versus post and share. The biggest thing I've seen with them sticking around on Firecaster has been mini apps from the get-go. They'll come in, they'll play it, they'll check it every day. Obviously, there's a certain level of bias when it comes to Clankermon, but like my mom and my brother are in here clicking buttons every day, and they've never clicked buttons on any app I've ever made before. So I feel like there's a growing segment of brothers and mothers that we can onboard very soon.
Spread the word, spread the gospel. Huh?
Get your brothers and mothers on.
Oh, dead right.
Awesome. So yeah, if folks want to sign up, if folks want to find Clankermon, where do we find both of you? Where do we find the app? Give us the quick picture.
Firecaster is the best place. You can follow me at Matthew Fox, and you can follow Eric at Eric AOREK. You can't sign up today. Sorry about that. We'll have signups back as soon as possible, but we're working through some issues before we can open that back up again. But yeah, 100% Firecaster.
Cool. We had another couple apps to demo quickly here. Let me jump over to these. If I can find my window, here we go. There we go. Cool. So yeah, first up, Linda, you had this one today, Pool Fans. We have a long intro post here to this mini app.
I don't know if we need to go through the entire post, but it is, it's a cool new mini app that's climbed the top of the leaderboards recently. So maybe we can just open it up.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the idea is that you complete different tasks and you can earn and win prizes. So, I don't know why it's working for me on mobile right now. User's FID key. Oh no. Well, let's see if I can share my screen.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I gotta set up mirroring. Maybe you want to.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll jump to mine.
Yeah.
Sure. So yeah, I wanted to demo this new one called Emerge. This is another image generation mini app. It's been a lot of fun. And yeah, so the idea here is you can write an image generation prompt associated with your PFP and share it out to the feed. So yeah, here's one where I generated create an image of this character from the user's profile picture holding an intricately designed cool sword. You can share this out to the feed, right? It goes out into the feed. People can open the app and then generate an image based on their profile picture. Yes, this has been really fun. You can see here's everyone who's done a generation based off of my my prompt that I shared. And as people do this, you can see here's everybody's profile picture, all these users who you don't know, who have used the app, generating their own images here.
The sword
I'm
was
just
super popular. Super
Thank you.
popular.
Yeah.
That was a smash hit.
Yeah, I'm just so impressed with like how good this technology has become, how it has, how it's been integrated with the social aspect. This one, someone generated this one for me as well,
That's
which is
so
really
sick.
impressive.
So
Yeah.
sick.
But even just this for me was really interesting to look back to even as far back as Frames V1, right, where we had the waifu cast frame was kind of one of the smash hit successes of Frames V1, which did a similar thing, took your profile photo, generated an anime character based on your PFP. They always go super viral, right? But now you have this ability sort of like as a service, as an interactive social experience built right into the feed. And the technology has in just 18 months or however long it's been has become that much better, and the tools for building a really interactive app have kind of democratized this, right? Such that anyone can go build their version of that app right into the feed. And yeah, and even things like the hosting costs, right? I remember thinking back then I wanted to play around with image generation, but wasn't sure about the AI side of that or kind of the backend side of doing those image generations. And even at the time, it was still kind of expensive. Now we have a wallet built into the app, and you pay a quarter, and it's easy for an app to cover that cost for the image gen and the tech that's behind it. So super impressive and super fun to see how this has been growing and scaling, and how people have built on this idea over time. And yeah, this one is just a great example of this. So yeah, check out Emerge. Let's see, we can see a few other prompts in here. Yeah, here's one that generated your Unchained Summer driver's license, right? Pulled stats about your account and generated an image on that. One that converts you to a Fidenza, an action figure. Yeah, all kinds of options here. But yeah, the ones I love most too are the ones where you can really put this into the Farcaster social context, right? So some meme or some something that's happened in the past on Farcaster. I posted this into the Swords channel, which is like a kind of a long running thing on
Yeah,
Farcaster.
deep lore.
You can build it
Deep
into
lore.
build on the lore, right? Yeah, build on what's
Yeah.
going on in the social ecosystem. Yeah.
The driving license one reminds me of McLovin. When I saw it, someone posted it on
Yeah.
the feed, I
Yeah,
was like McLovin straight away.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
brilliant.
100%.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I don't know if I can search in here. Did anyone else? Linda, did you do a sword? Did either of you do swords, Matthew?
I didn't do sword, but I did another. It's fun getting to search for like the different like prompts you can use.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's my pick. Go check it out. Emerge. Should we try yours again, Linda? Let's see.
Yeah, let me see if I can share my iPhone mirroring. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
there we go.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on here, but the idea is that there are different types of pools. So one of them is like an engagement pool where there's like social tasks that you do. So if I go into one of them, let's see. This is not an endorsement of any token or anything. You can
The base
do your own
AI
research.
token.
Do your own research.
Yeah, please do your own
Exploring a
research.
network token.
Yeah. So there's all these like different social actions you can take, and then you can actually earn keys for doing certain actions. And then when you earn these keys, it allows you to like open a position on a token. And then there's these like leaderboards where you can basically get rewarded for like top performance. And then the pool itself will like automatically distribute funds to the people that have joined the pool. So yeah, there's just a lot going on here. But I think it's cool. Like the types of mini apps that do really well also are like ones where people can earn for taking actions. And so people have been really liking this mini app and have been participating in lots of different pools. So maybe check it out.
This is cool. So these are permissionlessly like created user generated pools
Yes.
that then have actions that people participate in and can be rewarded for doing stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, and they're gonna have another pool that's like it's a liquidity pool, which is like before the token even got created. So I think that's something that they're gonna be launching soon. And they use the term "pray for liquidity," so we'll see. We'll see what that is.
We've all been there, I think, praying for liquidity at various points.
Yeah. Oh man. Cool. Okay, so that's this. Check it out. I haven't dug super deep into it, but definitely read the post and check it out.
Cool. All right, I think that's it for us for this week. Matthew, Arik, thank you both for joining us. Thanks for showing us Clankermon. And
Yeah, thanks for
one
having
more
us.
time, if we want to find you, if we want to find
Thanks a
Clankermon, where do we go?
That'll be faircaster.xyz. That's where it's at.
Love to hear it. Alrighty, thank you all.
Nice one.
See you next week.
Chat
Bye.
to you.
Awesome. Thanks.